Welcome to 1991 Movie Rewind, a podcast where we watch and review every movie released in 1991, from the all-time greatest classics to the critically panned and everything in between. We'll rediscover forgotten fan favorites and uncover hidden gems as we explore the depths of direct-to-video. Join us in our celebration of the fun, unique, and diverse films of this highly underrated year. This week, we watch Talent for the Game.
Nikki.
And this is John, and thank you for joining us on 1991 Movie Rewind. Talent for the Game tells the story of professional baseball scout Virgil Sweet, played by Edward James Olmos. The California Angels were just sold to a new owner, putting Virgil's job in jeopardy. His only chance at salvation is to find the perfect phenom prospect, so it's time to hit the road while he still can. Screenplay by David Himmelstein, Thomas Michael Donnelly, and Larry Ferguson. Directed by Robert M. Young, and released on April 26, 1991. So, the weekly question, have you seen Talent for the Game before?
No, I have not.
No, me either. I've seen quite a few baseball movies.
Yes.
This one never comes up in the discussion of the best baseball movies of all time.
No, even though I read a couple reviews and some people have said this is a very good baseball movie.
Disagree. Yeah, hard disagree. One, it's... Yeah, baseball's like front and center in terms of like subject matter, but it's not... It's not really a baseball movie. I don't know. It's as much a baseball movie as, like, MASH is a football movie. Have you seen MASH, the original theatrical thing?
No.
Like, the last act of that entire movie is just, like, them playing football. And, like, the last act of this is where the actual baseball happens.
Okay.
Whereas, like, in the... I don't know.
What, like Friday Night Lights?
I've never seen that.
Okay,
shit,
I've seen that.
So that's tough for me to say. But I'm just saying, like... The first 2/3 are less about baseball. Baseball is like the plot driving device, but it's supposed to be about the relationships and his like struggles and job and stuff. But like the actual baseball stuff happens here. There's a better analogy possibly. There's just as much, if not maybe even a little less baseball in this than there was in Naked Gun 1.
Okay.
So that's my point. It's not so much a baseball movie, just because of like how little actual baseball there is. And I know there's other baseball movies that don't have a whole lot of actual game playing. Like Field of Dreams doesn't have tons and tons of baseball. Bull Durham doesn't focus, 2 hours on the game itself. Mm-hmm. But yeah, they talk about it a lot, but it's such empty platitude nonsense. It's like you could have been anything. Like baseball is just like a substitute for whatever. You could have been a flower salesman and it would have been the exact same thing. I don't know, did you dive into those reviews to find out why they liked it so much, or is it just like
no, because I don't like
nostalgia thing?
I just saw I skimmed through them because you know how certain reviews reveal things.
Sure.
So I didn't go into them.
Okay, so
as much.
You read those before we watched it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I didn't bother to read them after.
Yeah.
I just saw a couple, and it was just saying, this is a sleeper hit or whatever.
It's a sleeper. I don't know. I was bored most of the time. I don't know about you.
It's like I just am very surprised that this was a theater movie, because this is very much a Lifetime Hallmark movie.
Yes. Yeah, it
in
has
my eyes
all the vibes of a TV movie.
Yeah.
But with better production. So sort of like Sleeping with the Enemy in that regard, and that like the subject matter and some of the dialogue is just very empty and shallow. But this does not break away from that the way Sleeping with the Enemy kind of does. Yeah, everything that you could imagine would happen in this movie, like when you're introduced to the characters and you find out that they have that he has a love interest in the form of some, I forget. Okay, so Virgil's love interest is Bobby Henderson, who is played by Lorraine Bracco, who has some sort of position in the California Angels front office, but I don't remember what. She works for the team as well. That's all you know. Mm-hmm. So they're together and expect the normal ups and downs, I guess. I don't know. Me explaining the summary should basically let you know where the plot's going to go. Of course, he's going to find the prospect. Of course, he's going to save his job. And, all those little fake-ass twists that you would expect to see are here. Mm-hmm. And along the way, we get, wonderful dialogue let it go, son. Let it go. When he's talking to these pitchers trying to...
Yeah, he's talking to himself.
Yeah, he's mumbling to himself at these pitchers he's trying to recruit.
Do it again, kid.
Yeah, yes, you got it. Do it again.
But it's weirdly shot because it's just a close-up of his face and it's very creepy. And
he's staring constantly.
Right into the camera. So imagine a man with a mask on.
A catcher's mask.
A catcher's mask. Staring straight into the camera going, yeah, kid, yeah, buddy.
Let it go.
It's just very creepy. Son. And that's kind of how it starts.
Yes.
Well,
and there's
the way
too many scenes like that, too.
Yeah. But the way it starts, he works in a mine.
He doesn't work in a mine. He's recruiting somebody who works in the mine.
Oh, okay. I thought he was working in the mine with these people.
Yeah, the very first shot, he has the miner's gear on.
Yeah.
And he's talking with people that it makes it seem like he's known them for a long time. But no, he's just going down in the shaft because that was the only way to meet that prospect because that guy couldn't get time off. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought they all worked in the mine and he was like, oh, my coworker is really good at baseball.
Right.
I don't know.
Yeah, I thought that was sort of I thought that was before he became a scout type of thing at first, too.
No, I thought this was his, quote, day job. He did scouting on the side.
Yeah, I can see how you could get that.
Okay, well then I don't know.
No, it's...
I didn't know scouting was his full-time thing.
It was his full-time thing, yep.
Okay.
But yeah, that was such a weird start, to head down the mine shaft. It's I don't know.
To play ball. It's in a mine.
Yeah.
It's dark.
My Bloody Valentine.
Yeah.
With baseball.
Yeah, that's why the very beginning is the beginning of My Bloody Valentine, if anyone's seen that movie.
And then you have the baseballs being thrown right at the camera as if it's a 3D effect in that, the remake of it.
Oh, yeah.
And he's giving you those creepy stares.
Mm-hmm.
That giant Doug Henning mustache of his. So that's... And I thought that was going to be the phenom, but it's not. He's not ready, right? You can't be introduced to the phenom that early. And they even have a scene a little bit after that where he's meeting up with all kinds of other scouts at this game, and they're talking about how the concept of a phenom is a myth. This kid who's so good at baseball, he doesn't need any sort of training. He's never been professionally coached or whatever, and he's just a natural, and he's going to be the best ever. So, of course, that means he's going to find one because he's saying it's a myth and, talking about all this stuff. But all of these sequences with dialogue is the most basic stuff you've ever heard. Hey, do I have what it takes? Everybody needs a dream. Is my kid really the best? It's all I know is baseball. It's all I've ever done my whole entire life. I just recited about a third of the movie's dialogue because they just repeat those types of phrases over and over again.
Yeah, and then you have Edward James Olmos going, yeah.
Yes, just staring at you. Again, sort of going back to Sleeping with the Enemy, he is the Patrick Bergen, staring at the camera with that mustache, and he's creepily looking at you, except no, he's the good guy. Edward James Olmos is the good guy. I don't know, he's very dry. I don't know. He has he whispers a lot too, like not just to himself, but like when he's talking just to other characters, he has sort of like a low tone. He's like, well, I don't know everything
I thought that was just baseball. Him.
Yeah, you mean like him as an actor, as a person?
Yeah.
That's how he is naturally? I don't know. Maybe I haven't seen enough of his stuff. Maybe that's just his style of acting, but it's just... I don't know. It's like he was trying to be deeper than what the character really was. And then in between all of this stuff, we have the relationship between him and Bobby. And I never really got a good grasp of what the hell was going on with those two. Did you? Like,
I don't know.
Like, there was never like any major troubles between them, right? It's just like he was worried about marrying her because he didn't make enough money.
Yeah, and she's like the breadwinner of this coupling.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then they're always kind of like joking around and, you know, teasing each other and
I guess those are jokes.
Well, in the beginning where he's, you know...
Oh, when he comes home.
When he comes home, he's been out, I don't know how long scouting. I don't know how long he was out. He comes back and he's trying to, like, catch her or, like, sneak up on her, but can't find her. And then she finds him and pours water over his head and they're laughing. And then that's the end of that scene.
Yeah.
And then it goes on to, like, him coming into the stadium where she works in her office.
Mm-hmm. And it just...
And then they go on, like a road trip together to scout together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because, that's his chance to save his job, is to find one prospect before X amount of time.
Yeah,
some arbitrary
the team is going to be... bought out by someone else.
Out by this billionaire, Gil Lawrence.
Yeah.
Played by Terry Kinney, best known for, well, by me, best known in Oz as McManus.
Yeah.
So, basically, the new owner doesn't like the old scouting system where people physically go and look for players. Because it's antiquated and it costs a lot of money, just use reports and go with, like, whatever. And so, Virgil's going to be out of a job unless he can come up with something that produces, because the California Angels are in the toilet in terms of, the standings, and have been for a while, so clearly what he's finding isn't doing the trick. So maybe he should have been fired because he wasn't good at his job, is the thinking there. They go on this road trip together, Bobby and Virgil, not Gil. And maybe Gil has a point, because he's going to these weird random locations like mine shafts and stuff just from like hearsay of like, hey, I know this guy who's really good at baseball, you should check him out.
Yeah.
And like catch 3 pitches and then make a decision.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, go to like, actual leagues.
Like go to a college.
Go to colleges and high schools.
Or even high schools, yeah.
Instead you're just going to see some random dude that a friend of a friend told you might be good. Like, that's not an efficient use of your time. But that's how they have to structure the story. And so that he has like situations where he's catching pitches in between barns and stuff because he's out of time. Like, I have to see this kid right now. And so like they're both in like opposing barns in this random field.
Yeah,
and
he's throwing the ball. Let's set up a place where you can throw a ball at me.
And it's getting wet in the rain that are set up between the 2 buildings where, whatever. Let it go, son, let it go. But they're on this road trip and the car breaks down in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah. They didn't say where they were for a really long time, because I was trying to figure out where they were.
No, it was someplace with some sort of field of something.
I mean, it's
I didn't
wheat.
Really I guess.
It turns out to be Idaho, but I thought it was like Northern California area.
Okay. So they went all... Oh, yeah, that's right. They did say Idaho, didn't they?
Yeah.
Yeah, they went all the way there. I don't know what they were planning to go see. I don't remember that.
Yeah, they were on their way somewhere, but their car breaks down, and then this is so weird. This scene was weird, where they were like, oh, well, let's start dancing.
Yeah, so, the car breaks down. They can't fix it because they don't have the part. And so they're like, well, we could start walking to, the nearest town. And then Virgil's like, or we could dance. And then they just start fucking dancing to music that appears out of nowhere.
Yeah, that's what I was like.
And it goes on for a while.
Is that music coming from the car, or are they just dancing to dance?
I don't know. I would imagine the car would be off.
Right.
Because it's overheating, so you don't want to keep it on.
Broken down. But then after they're dancing, they're seen just sitting on the highway or whatever, the stretch of road, looking bored, and they're like, okay, let's finally just
let's actually
walking to the nearest town.
Yeah.
I mean, the nearest town did not look close. It looked like you had to walk at least 6 to 10 miles or something. I don't know.
Okay, so I want to go back to the dancing though before we get to that part, because like I feel like that was like that and the whole water dumping on the head thing were probably like supposed to be glimpses of this relationship, and that there's a whole bunch of history there.
They're like, let's just have a good time.
Like, we're not let in on that.
Like, we like to goof around and make light of everything.
I guess so. I feel like it should, I don't know. It should have had more meaning than that. I don't know. I didn't feel like I was let into their relationship. I felt like I was still like this like if I was driving on the highway and saw these randos dancing.
Yeah, I wouldn't be like, hey, you guys need help. I would have the exact same
feeling as what I just saw 20 minutes into the movie.
Yeah.
It had the exact same impact. I didn't have any additional like attachment to them. You're like, oh, they're so cute and funny, aren't they? It's like what the fuck is happening? Go get help.
No, they want to dance.
So yeah, cut to them actually finally walking, and they're still, based off of the camera work, look like they're in the middle of nowhere. But they hear the sounds of baseball. And so they walk like 3 steps and find an entire town.
Yeah,
that was like right there.
The camera pans out, and you're in the middle of like a field.
It makes no functional sense.
And then all of a sudden,
it's like, oh, do you hear that? It's baseball. And guess who's there? It's the phenom, Sammy Bodine. It looks like he's in his mid-30s.
Right, he's supposed to be...
I don't know how old he's supposed to be.
Well, they call him a kid, but...
Well, he calls everyone kid, though.
Yeah, I know.
He calls everyone kid and son.
I don't know. He's probably, like, supposed to be early 20s.
That's my guess, yeah. He's probably supposed to be early 20s. But, you know how people always look older.
Right, he looks about 33 or something.
Yeah, he definitely looks like mid-30s to me. But boy, he can pitch so hard he's going to hurt your hand in the glove.
Right, and then that's when Edward James Olmos, or Virgil, I should just say, is just like, yeah, give it to me. Like, the way he's...
Again, yes.
He's whispering these things.
And then he's like,
I can
back
take
on me, son.
Yeah, he's like, I can take it. Just give it to me.
It's just so dumb.
Like, we should just isolate him whispering, and then we'll ask, is this from a baseball movie or a porn?
So there's so many things that just like happen, and then they're just gone, right? Because he has to then convince his parents that it's okay for him to be part of his professional baseball team and try out. Because his dad's a reverend, and he expects his son to take over the church. And for some reason, he can't do both. He couldn't take over the church after his baseball career is over. He would have to do it, like, I don't know, now, because obviously this kid is, 40 years old. So, I mean, so there's, like, this weird, like, thing. But that's, like, a 2-minute sequence, and then it's like, well, this kid's really good at baseball. And the mom's like, oh, okay.
Yeah,
and then
it's like, are you sure that he's good?
Next plot point.
Yeah, and then they're like, okay, you can go on ahead with this stranger.
Yeah.
Well, and then meanwhile, their car is being fixed, and the car is fixed.
Yeah, which we don't hear anything about.
By his family, I think, or something.
Michael J. Fox should have gone to that town instead in Doc Hollywood. Because his car got fixed right away.
Overnight.
Yeah.
And then it looked like the same type of town too. Yeah,
it did. I was joking with you, like there should just be like one 1991 cinematic universe where all these towns are
they intertwine.
Yeah, and like you just see like Michael J. Fox with the pig walking down the street. Town.
Yeah.
Just as an extra in this movie, he's just there walking the pig.
With his pig, yeah.
Would have fit right in. So yeah, I mean, all kinds of like little stupid stuff happen, and it's just blips on the radar, like fake intrigue or fake conflict that resolve itself and just never comes up again. And I feel like that's how, this movie is basically just like a series of small sequences that just happen to be connected. I don't know. It's hard to explain, but it just doesn't feel like a cohesive thing. It just feels like they're bouncing from one thing to another, and it doesn't have an actual flow to it. So yeah, then he goes to the team, right? Actually, before that, they had that Mr. Miyagi moment where he's like training the kid, where he's
for like a day. I don't know.
Yeah, that's the thing. He sees like 5 pitches from this kid. He's like, "You are ready for the majors, kid. Like you are ready to be part of this organization."
Yeah, let's prepare, or let's practice for one day.
Yeah.
And then, he's quizzing him on what would you do if...
Yeah. What would you do if Daryl Strawberry were up to bat and this is the situation, this is the count, runners on, whatever. How would you pitch them and why? And the kid's giving perfect answers, I guess. I don't have enough baseball knowledge to really
I was wondering if you would know, because I know nothing.
I'm a fan of baseball, but I don't know, like, the intricacies of the game.
Of this person you have to pitch a high...
Yeah.
or a fastball for a left-handed swing or something like... I was like, I don't know.
No, I feel very smart when I saw enough of Alfonso Soriano on the Cubs to know, if you pitch him down and away, he's gonna swing away like a dipshit. Mm-hmm. Like that, I was like, I learned that just from watching him every day. But I can't honestly tell the difference between a curveball and a slider and a cutter. Like there are people who know exactly what's what when they see the motion of a pitch. I'm not that advanced with that stuff. I can usually tell fastball versus off speed, but I couldn't tell you what type of off speed. So I just enjoy the game and collecting the cards. I don't care about becoming a professional scout or analyst. So I'll just be like, ooh, ball game fun. That's where my mindset is. Mm-hmm. But Sammy Bodine knows this stuff, and that's all that really matters. But yeah, they had this Mr. Miyagi moment where he asks Bodine to close his eyes and visualize the glove and pitch. And he does, but he throws it and hits the window of the car that was just fixed instead because he didn't visualize well enough.
It's established that he just gets, when he's nervous, he doesn't...
Gets wild.
Yeah, he doesn't pitch well.
Yeah.
And he's making mistakes.
Yeah. But they're basically trying to establish this whole magical ability of his. Like, if you close your eyes and concentrate, you'll still hit your mark. And
right.
It didn't happen in this scene. But the idea is that it's going to set up something probably for the end.
Mm-hmm.
So, you got to have that magical moment. But yeah, so flash forward, and he's in front of, the actual suits. And he's on the field at the Angels Stadium, which is evidently where they're doing tryouts during the middle of an actual season, which I don't think is something that typically happens. Yeah, like you said, he gets really nervous and he's throwing all kinds of wild pitches everywhere.
Yeah, and everyone's making fun of him.
Yeah, and they're like, "Oh, Virgil, you're screwed now."
Right.
And then he goes out there, talks to him about sushi.
Yeah. Well, I should say Bodine expects, Virgil to come up to be like, "Hey, what's wrong?"
Yeah, get your shit together, kid. And
Virgil is just like, "Hey, where do you want to go for dinner tonight?" And Bodine is like, "Huh?"
Mm-hmm.
And he's just like, "Oh, I think you would like sushi. That's a very LA thing to do." And then he's like, okay. And then he goes back to pitching, but then he's still pitching wildly.
Well, no, he's hitting... No, actually, I think what happens is he starts hitting his spots, and they're like, okay, bring a batter in.
Oh, okay.
And then he gets nervous again.
Yeah, he gets... Okay.
They bring in Dick Bortner, the home run leader of the league, which is a fake player. That person does not exist. But I just love the name Dick Bortner. So he's really intimidated by Dick Bortner, and he can't throw anything that misses Bortner's bat. Bortner's like hitting him like nonstop, and that's when he goes out again to the mound.
Yeah, he goes out again. He's like, "Do you know what sushi is? Raw fish." And then he walks away. I was like, "What the hell?"
It's like the funniest line in the movie that's
Do you know what
trying
sushi?
At times to be a comedy. you know what sushi is? Raw fish. Like,
and then walks off.
yeah,
he doesn't say, "Hey, kid," whatever. Doesn't give him like a pep talk.
No,
he's just
he's
saying,
just trying
"Do you know
to,
what
like,
sushi?" I know, like,
relax
trying to, yeah, I don't know.
Just ease the tension by changing the subject.
Yeah.
Yeah, the movie definitely tries to be funny here at times, but it's just like,
yeah, I mean, I don't know if this
garbage
is
jokes.
Yeah, I don't know, because Virgil's always trying to like crack jokes and just be very, I don't know, funny. He's like a jokester,
I guess.
but you know, when he's like okay, we're going back to when he visits Bobby in the office. He's like throwing sunflower seeds at people, like, "Hey, heads up," and throws seeds at people.
Yeah, and then like he calls Bobby at the office and says he got her number off a bathroom wall.
Yeah,
and then like
he's
the
just,
secretary
like,
just
joking
says
around.
it, and the secretary says it so matter of factly, it just
He's
kind of like
"Oh,
ruins the joke.
Yeah, he said he got a bathroom wall.
It's like, "Oh, you have a call for you? He said he got your number out of a bathroom wall."
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So
But this is the actual. This is the one laugh that it actually got out of us.
Right, because we were like, okay, this is
just his goofy ass laugh afterwards.
Right.
So now he's doing really well against Dick Bortner, and he's striking him out. And then Bobby's there with Gil and Tim Weaver, who we haven't talked about at all. I don't know exactly
He's like
what
the manager of the team.
I think he's the general manager.
Okay.
But he isn't at the time because Gil promotes him to general manager. So I don't know what his previous position was within the Angels. But anyway, he's another suit. Mm-hmm. Who is like the friend but also kind of secret enemy of Virgil. Mm-hmm. And so yeah, Gil's like all high and mighty, like, "See, scouting doesn't work, this guy's crap." And Tim's mad because Virgil went behind his back and didn't, get this scouting work approved by him or whatever. And now this prospect's doing really well, and Bobby is going, "Yes. Yeah. Yeah."
But like, she says it in a weird way.
Yeah, she's supposed to be giving like these really excited reactions to these great pitches, and instead she's like, "Woo. Yay." It's like she's giving like line readings to someone else.
Yeah, it's as if this was shot at a different time. Like, her scenes were shot separately, and they were like, "Okay, Lorraine Bracco." We didn't even say like Bobby is Lorraine Bracco.
Yeah.
Okay.
Coming off of an Oscar nomination for Goodfellas, by the way.
Right.
Like the year before.
And they're like, act surprised or happy.
Get excited. This kid's doing really well.
She's like, "Yeah.
Woo.
Yes." And then finally she's like, "Oh, yes." Like, she did one good, "Oh, yes."
But it has like, she has like dead eyes while she does it. Like the
I wonder if she's just
auditory
like, I'm getting
is fine.
paid for this dumb movie. I don't know.
I don't know. It's just, a lot of the dialogue in this movie sounds like it's just shot at completely different times with no guidance from other actors. Like, how normally when you shoot a movie you have the other actor or someone running lines with you so you have something to bounce off and react to. This is basically just people reciting words on a script to emptiness. Mm-hmm. And then it's pieced together in the editing room. A lot of people don't feel like they're in the same space, and they don't occupy the same frame most of the time, and so you have like a shot of Edward James Olmos staring and saying his line, and then you have like a completely unrelated inflection by the person who's responding to him, and it just doesn't match up. Just very weird construction overall. But Dick Bortner gets his ass handed to him by Sammy Bodine, and Sammy Bodine is now on the team.
Yes.
And then you go into the scene where he is announced to the press by this new owner, Gil Lawrence. And they pull this fun little stunt where they descend him from the heavens. They bring like fog machines, and he's like on like strings and ropes, and he's coming down from the ceiling to announce this new angel player. Right. So
it's like, please everyone welcome Sammy Bodine, and then he's
like awkwardly
yeah, he's awkwardly hanging from these wires from the ceiling, and everyone's clapping, and he just looks very uncomfortable, like the entire movie.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Until like the very, very end, I guess. And he just comes down on these wires. He doesn't even do anything. He's just hanging there. Yeah. And then he's just being slowly brought down to the ground on these wires. And then, smoke is all around. Yeah. That was like a weird entrance. He couldn't just come down a stairway.
I know, yeah. I think it was meant to sort of, be jokey.
Like a spectacle. I think it's meant to be something of
a comedy piece, but yeah, also to be like a spectacle, like, and show Gil Lawrence as this type of character, like showman.
Yeah,
we don't get to know that. Like there's no setup for this.
Not really. Happens. You just see that he owns like a really giant mansion that looks like a castle.
Yeah, it's out of nowhere, and it just sort of happens, and then it's almost like, it's not talked about again. It's just weird little snippets of something. But then the announcement is that he's going to be starting for the Angels
like in a week.
On Saturday.
Yeah, less than a week.
Yeah, whatever day Saturday is in relation to that press release, he's starting. He's not going to the minors. He's coming in with no professional experience, no minor league experience, going right into a game in the majors. And then there's like a big to-do, and Virgil and Tim don't want that, and Bobby doesn't want that because they want him to be seasoned in the minors. They want him to get actual professional experience at a lower level, lower stakes environment, which makes sense. That's how everyone should be doing it, for the most part. But yeah, that's the decision, and so we got that extra little bit of conflict. The players resent it. They're in the locker room talking about how this kid isn't ready and how it's not fair that he's not paying his dues like they did in the minors and all this kind of stuff.
Yeah, and he's in the other room listening to all this.
Yeah. And meanwhile, Virgil is offered a new role as the assistant to the general manager, which would be Tim, at $60,000 a year for 3 years guaranteed.
That's
so he's
good.
No longer a scout. He has like this guaranteed job, which means he could be able to marry Bobby.
Right, because now he's making money.
Yeah, which apparently was, a factor in his own mind at least.
Yeah, they don't even say how long they've been together either. So
no. They don't have a discussion about the relationship hardly at all, except for when they are walking in that empty highway. They do have like a little stupid fight. Mm-hmm. At one point, they have a very brief fight, and then they hear baseball, and it's all over, and everything's good again. So all this kind of whirlwind stuff happens, and so flash forward, and he's basically at the game, and
the first inning he's doing not a good job. He's messing up.
Everyone's a Bortner. Everyone.
Crowd's booing him.
Yep.
No one likes him.
The owner wants him pulled
Yep.
from the game in the first inning, sees the whole thing as an abject failure. Virgil's dead to him. He's fired, whatever.
Yeah,
Even
Virgil...
though he can't be fired because he has a 3-year guarantee, so he still quits just out of spite. You know, this typical shit you see in movies.
Right.
You can't fire me, I quit. Bullshit.
Yeah, Lorraine Bracco was like, I think I'm going to fire myself. Everyone's quitting. I don't know. And then Tim...
Yeah, and then Tim is supposed to call...
Yeah, he's supposed to call the dugout to be like, take him out.
Take him out.
But Tim actually calls the dugout and says, hey, you can put him in the next inning, but if he messes up a couple, like if
anyone reaches second, pull him.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
If anyone reaches second base in the second inning, pull him. Which is not what the ownership wanted, but...
Yeah, the owner just wanted him out immediately. Yeah.
But Virgil got to Tim.
But once it gets to the second inning, he comes back on the mound, and then owner is like, what the hell? And then, Virgil is all of a sudden down in the field dressed up as a catcher.
Yes.
And I'm like, how did they allow this?
Well, okay.
Like, what type? This is...
Here's how this happened. So Virgil is an ex-baseball player, right? They make a big deal about him being an ex-baseball player who can no longer play. He can do everything, but he can't run because it makes him dizzy, supposedly. That's what we learned halfway through. They make a big deal of it, making it seem like it's some big reveal. And it's not a big deal at all. Does not come into play. I thought when he was a catcher that he might have to run somewhere and be dizzy and fall down and ruin the kid's chances or have some sort of relation to this.
Mm-hmm.
Why mention it so much if it's not actually going to play a factor in the plot? But they did. So anyway, he's down there to talk to the kid in between innings. He's not allowed in the dugout, but the catcher is going to the bathroom.
Yeah.
And so off screen, I guess they have some sort of a
did they
talk,
have his uniform or what?
Yeah, they switch freaking places, and he's out there for a half inning.
Like, this is another Naked Gun.
Yeah, it's like another Naked Gun reference.
I know.
And they did have an opera singer singing the national anthem, but you never saw him. You just kind of
right.
heard him.
You
in
just
the
see the team singing along with him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It could have been Enrico.
Yeah.
Palazzo. So yeah, he's there dressed up as not dressed up as a catcher. He's in the catcher's uniform as the catcher, and so he goes out to the mound and lets Bodine know that he's there, and
he's like, remember, what happened when I scouted you? Close your eyes and remember that time, which was a week ago. I don't know. Right. Yeah, I remember 1 to 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
When I scouted you. Think about those times.
And it's just so weird. Like you said, nobody notices. Obviously, Bodine does, immediately when he hears the voice. But, the umpire doesn't notice. None of the Royals batters, who are the opposing players in this game, they should know what the regular catcher actually looks like. And so when they're coming up to bat, they're like, who the fuck is this? Right. Nobody says anything. They could have had, I don't know. So, yeah, he gives him the pep talk, and he's magical again. And then, Bodine's like, do you want me to close my eyes? He's like, no, let's not do that ever again.
Mm-hmm.
So that was, the result of the Mr. Miyagi moment. So, yeah, that means that Virgil gets his, professional baseball experience that he never got to have because of his injury. And then Bodine is a success, at least for this one particular half inning.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he did very well because at the end of the movie, he tells the owner, I want $1 million a year for 6 years at least.
Yeah, this unknown commodity who pitched one good game wants 6-year guaranteed contract at $1 million per.
Yeah, even if I have injuries, I want this $1 million contract.
So, long way from Idaho. And then, Bobby and Virgil, who have both quit their jobs, evidently, did not get them back after Bodine regained his composure. They just drive off into the sunset and movie over.
Yeah.
Just a whole bunch of nothing. We talked about it as if stuff happened, but nothing really happened.
It was a movie that was made.
The baseball action wasn't, worthwhile either. It's such weird perspectives. It's just sort of like everything else where it just was not put together very well. It's almost all of the pitching shots, the camera is the catcher. So you have the pitcher throwing it directly at your face. And so you don't really get a good, that's not a very good perspective in anything other than baseball video games where you're, trying to be the batter and you need to see what's coming at you that way. Yeah, it's just boring. And like during like that first inning, the entire like first inning where he's doing terribly, there's no music at all. It's just the crowd noise and the boos and like, you know, the
Yeah.
And then the sappy music comes in the second inning after, you know, Virgil gives his "I'm going to hypnotize you" speech. Mm-hmm. Oh, by the way, the score was done by David Newman. That's our third movie of his. Don't Tell Mom the Babysitter's Dead, and I forget the second one already. Yeah. He's gonna.
He's done a lot.
Yeah. He's the ever present.
He did Other People's Money.
Oh, that's what it was. Yeah, the most basic music for the most basic movie. Let's talk a little bit about the cast and crew that made this. There honestly weren't a whole lot of cast members that are worth mentioning. There's a massive cast, but a lot of them went on to do nothing else, or a lot of people did like minor bit parts, or a couple of them we might see in future 1991 movies, so I'm not going to really mention them too much. Edward James Olmos, well, we'll talk about director first, sorry. Robert M. Young has some pedigree to him, just maybe not so much in the fictional film realm. He was a Cannes Festival Golden Camera Award winner for his movie Alambrista in 1977. He also won the grand prize at Sundance for his documentary Children of Fate, Life and Death in a Sicilian Family. So he's had a lot of good success in the documentary world. Mm-hmm. But that didn't really carry over here. The cinematography wasn't terrible, but just like the editing and construction of the movie was just god-awful. The writers are all over the place. We have David Himmelstein, who did Power. He did Village of the Damned. He did Bad Company, which was that Anthony Hopkins, Chris Rock movie that I forgot existed. Thomas Michael Donnelly did Quicksilver and Defiance. Larry Ferguson is probably the most accomplished in terms of box office hits. He did Highlander, Beverly Hills Cop 2, Hunt for Red October, Alien 3, and then the Rollerball movie in 2002, the remake. I don't know who took on what role for this, but it did not.
3 guys writing this movie.
It took 3 guys that did not, I don't know, didn't mesh. But yeah, we got Edward James Olmos. I don't know if this was like a pet project of his or something and he just really wanted to do a baseball movie. I just don't know why these people are involved in this. Oscar nominated for Stand and Deliver. He also won the Independent Spirit Award for that same movie. Emmy winner for Miami Vice. Longtime cast member on Miami Vice. And then he's in Blade Runner, Selena, and Battlestar Galactica for a long time. And he's also married to his co-star, Lorraine Bracco, from 1994 to 2002. This is probably where they first met. Yeah. Like I said, Lorraine Bracco coming off of Goodfellas. 4 Emmy nominations for The Sopranos, but she also has a Razzie nomination for Medicine Man and Traces of Red. Both in the same year. I don't know Traces of Red.
Me neither.
But somehow she avoided the Razzie for this.
Right.
She's also in the 1991 movie Switch. Also, you may know her from Hackers or a recurring role in Rizzoli and Isles. So,
I did not know she was in that show.
No,
but
she,
I don't
she
know
plays
much
one of the
about
Rizzolis.
Oh, really?
She plays a Rizzoli.
I don't know.
I don't know which one, but she plays one of them. Not the main one, obviously, but
I know her
maybe
from
like a
The
mom or a
Sopranos.
sister. I don't know what role she plays.
She was also in Radio Flyer, which I love that movie. She was like the mom in Radio Flyer.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I haven't seen Radio Flyer. Jeff Corbett with Sammy Bodine. He really hasn't done a whole lot that I could really, that people would remember. He's just in a bunch of like smaller roles or TV guest spots. So this was like his big one thing, and then that was it. Tim Weaver, who we barely talked about, he's been in a bunch of stuff. Law and Order, Criminal Intent, for several years. Homeland, he played the vice president.
Jamie Sheridan.
Jamie Sheridan, yes. What did I say?
You said his.
Oh, I just said his
Tim
character name, but
yeah.
not his actor name.
Yeah, his actor name.
Yeah,
Jamie
sorry, Jamie Sheridan. He's also in 2 more 1991 movies. One of them is not on our list, Murder in High Places. Just couldn't find a copy of it that's available to watch, so maybe at some point they'll get added in. He's also in All I Want for Christmas, so we can talk about it even more in a little bit then.
Okay.
I want to talk about Felton Perry, who is the manager of the Angels. He was in the dugout, I don't know, he didn't have a whole lot of lines, but...
yeah, he's just like, okay, kid, let me see you pitch.
Yeah, he was there.
Okay, now you're signed to the team.
It's like, yeah, he's pretty good now. Anyway, yeah, Felton Perry, he's been in all kinds of different stuff. He's been in Night Called Nurses, the cult classic movie. He was Dirty Harry's partner in the sequel Magnum Force. He's been in all 3 of the RoboCop movies, the original. He's only one of 5 actors to appear in all 3 of those movies. He's also a regular in the TV series Hooperman. Do you remember Hooperman?
No.
I think it was around like 94 or 95.
Okay.
Starring John Ritter.
Oh,
It lasted for about 42 episodes or so. He played some sort of a detective in that. So, last thing I want to mention here in terms of normal actors is Terry Kinney, who played Gil Lawrence. I mentioned he's from Oz, McManus. He's also in Billions, The Firm, Sleepers, Devil in a Blue Dress. He'll be in the 1991 movie Queen's Logic. Something I didn't know, but probably should have. He was a co-founder of the Steppenwolf Theater.
Did you know really? That? No.
Yeah, he co-founded Steppenwolf with Gary Sinise and Jeff Perry. He's, those 3 together created the theater.
I've never been to Steppenwolf, even though we live in the city that Steppenwolf Theater is in.
Yeah, so obviously he's been in tons of stuff, mostly at Steppenwolf, but he was also a Tony-nominated actor for Grapes of Wrath, which did appear on TV in 1991 through TV American Playhouse on PBS. So, yeah, it was just a weird little thing. I didn't know McManus was a founder of Steppenwolf.
Yeah, he was also married to Elizabeth Perkins.
Yes, he was.
Going back to...
Divorced by this time.
You're right.
To her.
Going back to another 1991 movie.
Yes. And then in terms of, the baseball stuff... So we got Ken Medlock was one of the players in here. He's I just found it fascinating, all of the baseball related credits that he was in. If I can list them all off, it's just fascinating to me. So he played in AAA in Mexico, not any sort of minor league system, but he's probably best known for being one of the people in Moneyball who gave Brad Pitt's character a lot of shit during one of the meetings.
Okay.
But yeah, these are all the baseball related things. I just wrote down the names of the projects. The Comebacks, The Shield, Bad News Bears, Clubhouse, Seventh Heaven, Major League Back to the Minors, Major League 2, Living and Working in Space, The Countdown Has Begun, Mr. Baseball, a CBS School Break Special, ABC After School Specials, Brewster's Millions, and Mirror Mirror. All those, he either played a baseball player or an umpire. So he's sort of been typecast. And then real life... minor league player in the States, Hank Robinson, same type of thing. If I listed all of his, it would be a mile long. We'd be here for a half hour. He pretty much only plays umpires or cops. But yeah, the umpire in the major league sequence, Hank Robinson, pretty much only plays umpires. And then all of the players in those games, the Angels and the Royals players, they're all real baseball players.
They're real players?
But none of them were active in 1991.
Ah, okay.
They had all stopped playing before this movie was made. So they weren't current players, except for maybe one. Steve Ontiveros is listed in the credits. IMDb associates him with a pitcher for the A's, Phillies, and Mariners who would have been active technically, but would have been injured at the time. But there's another Steve Ontiveros who was born 10 years earlier, who was an infielder for the Giants and Cubs, and I think that's who actually was in the movie.
Oh, okay.
So, if you out there happen to know the answer, which Steve Ontiveros was it? Let us know. On to true crime and pop culture. Oh, sorry, I should mention there's no awards to... there are no awards to mention on this one. On to true crime pop culture.
Alright, well, so this movie was released the same day as Kiss Before Dying, which was April 26, 1991.
Not a great week for that movie.
Yeah, that week was, I was thinking, like, was April a really bad month for movies in that time period in 91? And then I did find some stuff about Edward James Olmos. Mm-hmm. Well, I'm not going to talk about it, but I did find some sexual assault accusations.
Oh, geez, really?
I was like, is everyone? I'm like, I'm sick and tired of finding stuff out every week. So I did find a couple things, but I tried to, like, delve into it. And then, I mean, what I saw was on Wikipedia, and I was like, I don't want to get into it.
Okay. So just know that it's out there. If you want to learn more, you can.
If you want to know about the shenanigans of Edward James Olmos, you can go on Wikipedia. Music-wise, we already talked about on our episode for Kiss Before Dying what the top songs were, but to refresh your memory was Amy Grant's Baby Baby.
Okay.
And the Chesney Hawkes song.
Okay.
The one and only.
Yeah.
But I started looking up other stuff. I did what the top album was for that time in April of 1991, and it was Mariah Carey's debut album that was released in March of 1991, and it was on the charts for 12 weeks, all the way up until May. So March to May, Mariah Carey's debut album was number 1 on Billboard.
Wow. Did you own it?
Yeah, I do. I have it on tape.
I did not. I know.
Oh, yeah. And then I also looked up a list of Billboard top songs, which I'm going to try and remember to do in the future, because these are, quote, modern rock, which was probably what alternative was considered before they...
The fun music?
Yeah, before they came up with the term alternative music.
Sure.
So for this week, the top modern rock song was Depeche Mode's Enjoy the Silence.
Okay.
And I also looked up a couple of a couple of albums that were released in April of 91. There were a bunch, but I'm only going to talk about 2, because these 2 stuck out to me. There was more, but I don't want to get into it. Yeah, if we have another April release, I'll talk about 2 more, maybe. The first one is the 5th studio album by Violent Femmes called Why Do Birds Sing. It was released April 30th, 1991, and that had the song American Music on it. Okay. Do you know that song?
Not by name, I don't. Nope. I'm sure if I heard it.
I'm not going to sing it.
That's
but
fine.
You will know what it is.
I'm sure I would. You know, we talked about this on the podcast. I just don't know things by name most of the time.
You know the song, but I'm
sure
not going to sing it.
That's fine.
And the next album that was released in April 91, which caught my eye and I thought was interesting, was Alanis Morissette's debut album. It was April 91, but it was MCA Records Canada released this album, and it was in Canada only.
Yeah, I was going to ask, did it ever hit the States? But probably
no.
At least not at that year. What she was done off of, like, You Can't Do That on Television by that point, right? She was like transitioning from TV to music. I was reading a little bit about this album, and it was a dance pop album, which is what I do not know her as. Right. And she was known as the Tiffany or the Debbie Gibson of Canada. Around that time. Yeah, I remember hearing about that when, like, Jagged Little Pill came out, that she had, like, that pop history to her that we never saw. We never got to experience. Yeah. If we can find, like, a YouTube video of, like, one of those songs, then we'll put it on the website. Yeah. And then some of the top singles on that album, which I haven't listened to any of this, was the first single was called Too Hot. Next one was called Walk Away, and then Feel Your Love. Those were all on the top 40 of that year in Canada. And then now TV-wise, so I know that you mentioned maybe in the last episode
that we went to your parents' house.
Yeah.
And got some TV guides, and we found a TV guide for April 27th to May 3rd of 1991.
So the day after this movie.
This movie came out, but it was talking about the Dinosaurs premiere, which premiered on April 26th.
Yeah.
Which is the day this movie was released. And I just want to comment on the cover is Patrick Bergin.
Yeah.
As Robin Hood.
Yeah.
So I don't know. We're gonna have to.
Yeah, that's on the
list. Scan this.
Yeah.
I just thought it was funny. There's a big picture of dinosaurs and then a small picture of Patrick Bergin
and Magic Johnson, but
yeah. But
he's not in a movie.
I was like, why out of all these people in the whole world, Patrick Bergin?
Because it was probably playing on HBO or something that week.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, because it just says what's coming up in May. So that movie was probably coming up in May of 91. So I'm just going to read, some of the stuff that I found in here was interesting and I didn't know much about. So I'm just going to read a few paragraphs because this is like a 5 to 6 page thing.
Yeah.
So, starting off, as unlikely as a sitcom about a dinosaur family sounds, one thing the series has in its favor is its ingenious creator, the late Jim Henson, who died in 1990. I didn't know that he died in 1990.
Yeah, I was in 3rd grade.
I thought he died when, we were in high school or something.
No, I remember clearly being in elementary school hearing about it.
Okay. I know he died. I didn't know he died this soon.
Yeah.
So this concept for the series was an idea that Henson began tossing around 4 years ago, which was in 1987.
Okay.
Says his son, Brian Henson, who is a co-executive producer of Dinosaurs.
Also the voice of Hoggle in the Labyrinth.
And he is also a chief puppeteer for the first Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle movie.
Yeah.
And this is the first production that the company Jim Henson Productions has developed without Jim Henson. The technology used in this live action series was crazy, which what I started reading about. And it started out with Jim Henson Productions and Michael Jacobs Productions. They were in association with Walt Disney Television, utilizing state-of-the-art puppetry and electronics, and all of it was shot in movie quality 35mm film rather than on videotape. And this is a quote from Brian Henson saying, "We're pushing every element of the production to its limit, and what we're getting is something quite unparalleled in the industry. It's a quantum leap from Ninja Turtles, which was a quantum leap from the things that came before it. In terms of technology alone, this show could not have been done 5 years ago," adds executive producer Michael Jacobs. He was also the producer for My Two Dads.
Okay. One of the best theme songs ever.
Yeah, I also a very good show. It might have been done Muppet style, but fantasy takes on another level when it happens in a genuinely believable world. So this is all quotes from Jacobs and Henson, and then they were talking about Alf. They said, "When my 2 small children watched Alf, I didn't want them to know there was a hand in his head." So they made these creatures, or dinosaurs, which average about 7 to 9 feet tall and are about 4 to 5 feet wide. Other talented technicians coordinated electronic signals to alter the facial expressions via a process called audio animatronics, which actors provide the voices. And such high-tech wizardry doesn't come cheap. It was estimated construction costs for the dinosaurs built at Jim Henson's Productions Creature Shop in London was $2.5 million.
Wow.
And the first episode reportedly cost at least twice that much, making the show one of the most expensive half hours on TV.
Well, and it didn't last very long either, but it was still...
It was only 4 seasons, but I mean...
Yeah. But it was still, a resounding success critically. I would say.
Yeah, they said that this was ordered for, after the pilot was aired, they ordered it for 13 more episodes. And then there's like another little article within this article about the rise of how dinosaurs are becoming popular, which I thought
just in general, not the TV show, but just the concept.
Yeah, just dinosaurs. The concept of dinosaurs, which is true because they talk about, you know, the Lost World, and then they talk about Jurassic Park, the book.
Oh yeah, because
the movie hasn't been out yet. Yeah. That came out in '93. I thought that was interesting.
Yeah. Trying to think, what Land Before Time, was that like a couple years before that? Yeah, that was
like in late '80s.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's like a little thing talking about how dinosaurs are cool.
Yeah. On to rankings and ratings. On your 1 to 5 star scale, where would you put Talent for the Game?
I mean, I'm gonna give this a 1.
Okay. I understand. Yeah, I'm kind of. Yeah, it's like. On my 0 to 4 star scale, I think I'm going to give it a half star.
Okay.
Which I think is probably the same thing I gave A Kiss Before Dying.
Yeah, so this week we had some
bad so
duds.
We'll have to look and see. Like, this movie, I mean, it's on the box office. Number 211 is it's standing in the box office.
Right. I mean, I'm...
Out of less than 250.
I'm scared to see what, like, 250 is. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, obviously there's hundreds that weren't even in the box office that will probably be better than this.
Yeah, this was just boring.
Yeah. So.
And it's exactly what a Lifetime or Hallmark movie would be.
Yeah.
Like, the movies that you would see on Lifetime now are like this.
Yeah, absolutely. Just emptiness. But at least it was quick. It was like a 90 minute.
Yeah, it was an hour and a half. I was like, okay, thank God for that.
Like, maybe it needed some extra time to sort of actually introduce these characters and stuff.
I mean, I
don't think it would have helped.
I would watch this over Kiss Before Dying, though.
Boy, I don't know. That's going to be interesting to... Okay, so would you watch it again, just generally?
No, but if I had to choose between
that
and A Kiss Before Dying, I am choosing this. At least I would laugh and kind of make fun of it, you know?
I feel like I could make fun of Kiss Before Dying more, and you have like the fun, like, grotesque death scenes in that you can, like,
that movie really, it made me, I think because with A Kiss Before Dying, that genre I like a lot, and I was very excited to see it, and then it really disappointed me and made me so angry that I'm like, I will never watch this again.
I gotcha. Yeah, I think we're just going to be reversed on that.
Yeah.
Well, but if you out there want to watch Talent for the Game, as of this recording in June 2021, it's available on Amazon Prime, digital rental, VHS, or DVD. As always, check your local listings. As for us, you can listen to us on all of your major podcasting platforms. Please rate, review, subscribe, and tell your friends. You can email us at 1991movierewind@gmail.com. Of course, you can follow us on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and Letterboxd. Just search 1991 Movie Rewind or go to 1991movierewind.com for the full list of movies along with show notes, the full list of rankings and ratings, and all kinds of additional stuff. Next week, we'll be watching Europa, which is on HBO Max, Criterion Channel, Canopy, VHS, and DVD. We will see you then.
Thanks.